What's going on, guys? Welcome to Dime Dropper, episode 38 of our 24-minute recaps. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper Podcast. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify, and of course, to follow us on social media at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Dime Dropper Pod. So I know we haven't been back for 2 days. It's probably going to be the full 24 minutes. It's going to be the Lakers Thunder, the Clippers, Wolves, the Jazz, Celtics from last night, and the Warriors, Spurs. The Warriors and the Spurs and the Lakers and the Thunder each played each other twice in a row. So I guess I'll try to blend them in kind of because both games went fairly similar. At least the Laker one did. The Warriors one a little bit different. But by the way, I hope you guys enjoyed and or watched my why Kobe's Lakers lost 2 finals, 04 and 08. Please watch it if you haven't. Spend some time on it. And of course, if you haven't watched the NBA Getting Better and Better, my best video series is pinned in my channel. Go watch those. I cannot believe some of the comments I made. If we have time, I'll get to some of the comments that were made recently that sparked some more conversation on that exact topic. So let's get to the Lakers. Tonight, they played against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was their second time in a row playing them. SGA had a great game the other night, and the Lakers were really pedestrian till the fourth quarter, basically. And then they did what they've done all season, where LeBron, who's kind of been on cruise control for a lot of games, and then in the fourth quarter, he turns it on and plays like the best closer in the league, which I think he's been this season. And he did that last game. This game, no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Again, no Anthony Davis with the Achilles tendonitis. Hopefully AD is not hurt too bad. If you're a Laker fan, you don't want that. And no Caruso. We know the impact that he brings to the table. So the Thunder started with a lineup of Darius Bazley, Lou Dort, Al Horford, Kenrich Williams, and Hamidou Diallo. And right away, the Lakers again playing down to their competition. No intensity on defense. Missing a lot of good looks, I will say. But just the Lakers are going to get teams' best shots, and they weren't ready for it tonight. I thought Kenrich Williams was really impressive. I'd never seen him play like that. He was looking like Paul Pierce out there, stopping on a dime, hitting contested jumpers, getting downhill, getting to the rim. It seemed like nobody on the Lakers could stop him. And despite the fact that Dennis Schroeder had some great defensive moments, he couldn't. The one guy he was struggling with was Kenrich Williams. So I thought that was interesting. But he had a really solid night. And the Thunder were up 14 after 1. Like THT couldn't make shots. Kuzma couldn't make shots. Markieff Morris was missing shots. LeBron wasn't being that aggressive to start the game. And here's the thing about THT. I think he's a really talented player, but there are times where the guy just is 100 miles per hour all the time, and he just gets tunnel vision going straight to the basket and wants to just attack, and he'll turn the ball over, or he'll get wrapped up, or he'll, look to pass when he knows he can't get a clear-cut shot off at the rim, and he'll turn it over. And sometimes he gets lost on defense, but that's what happens when you're young and, haven't gotten that many minutes yet. Consistently, and he's just starting to get those type of minutes. But I thought the Lakers did a decent job of weathering the storm a bit in the second quarter, but overall the first half was just pretty trash. The lineup without LeBron in the beginning of that second quarter really plummeted, and it was mostly the offense. By the way, KCP has really fallen off a cliff these last couple of games. He's not involved. He's not getting shots, and his defense has been poor as a result of that. He's gotten scored on so many times. I don't know what's happening to him. 21 minutes, only 2 of 6 from the field and 0 of 2 from 3. Again, only shooting 6 times. But the second half, the Lakers really turned it up. The Thunder only scored 38 points in the second half. That's just a direct result of Lakers trying harder. You got to give guys like Hamidou Diallo, Lou Dort, and Darius Bazley credit. They were attacking the rim. I thought Al Horford was spectacular. No Lakers seemed to be able to guard him in the post. He was hitting some little floaters, finishing around the rim well, hitting mid-range jumpers. Lou Dort was getting to the rim, but for God's sake, he could not hit a 3. 0 of 5 from 3, and so many of them were good looks. But I just thought the Lakers were just hanging in there. I thought Kuzma, Schroeder, LeBron, Marc Gasol, all of them stepped it up in the third quarter defensively. I thought that Marc Gasol had some really good moments offensively in the third quarter with some nice little shimmy turnarounds that we saw in Memphis for so many years. He was 3 of 5 with 8 points. The Lakers couldn't really keep the Thunder out of the paint. That's kind of been the main story with the Lakers this season is their paint defense at times, depending on who attacks them. But I thought in the fourth quarter, they did a good job. I thought Montrader was really good in the fourth. He was getting into the post. By the way, Mike Muscala, I've never seen him play well in my life. Like, he doesn't bring anything to the table on either end, in my opinion. He makes like 1 3 out of 4 attempts. Like, he's not good. I don't understand how he plays so much. 28 minutes, 2 of 10, 0 of 5 from 3. He had 7 assists, 2 of which maybe I noticed. 6 points. That dude's just not that great. But I thought that the Lakers, Montrader, LeBron in the fourth was a lot better. He had 7 points, made some great passes, doing as he does. I thought Schroeder was good, though, overall. Got to the basket. Did he make a couple of mistakes? Sometimes he comes off the screens and he doesn't shoot mid-ranges. I don't know why he's like afraid to pull them. I don't know if he's afraid that he's going to get caught from behind, getting blocked or something. But I don't like when speaking from a Lakers fan perspective, if I'm watching it that way, I don't like when he does that and just like fakes that shot in the mid-range and just kicks it out. And then the Lakers, you have to rely on LeBron to create something. But LeBron, he had a chance. He hit the game-tying 3. That was huge. LeBron just continues to be clutch this season. Fourth quarter, very even. It was Wes Matthews, who I thought had some good moments in this game, hitting open threes. He did have some turnovers, 3 turnovers, and he was -7, but he did hit a huge 3, 10 points. He was 3 of 9, 3 of 8 from the three-point line, including the one that put the Lakers up 3. And then OKC, I think it was Dort that got to the rim and cut it down. But, yeah. But, ultimately LeBron had a chance to ice the game, and that air ball where he just held onto the ball was actually just I really wish he had gotten paid the price for that. I think the Lakers are just completely getting lucky, guys. Like, they're just playing like down to the level of their competition, and they're getting lucky because they have the best player, and the team that they play just can't execute against tight defense. They don't really have any clear-cut go-to guys. Like, yeah, Jeremy Grant is good. Yeah, like, who did the Thunder have tonight? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating, so to speak, but I just think that the Lakers are getting so lucky in some of these games. But ultimately, that play, LeBron made up for his air ball with a nice tip at the end. I think it was so stupid, though, that the Thunder did call it. They called a timeout after they put the ball on the floor. Like, why don't you just call a timeout the second you get the rebound? Like, that's how you can advance the ball. That's just basketball 101. So, yeah, disappointing if you're the Thunder to lose that game. If you're the Lakers, 5 wins in a row, 3 overtime wins in a row. LeBron playing 41 minutes again, so he's starting to have a lot of wear and tear. 25 points, 6 boards, 7 assists. 5 turnovers, though, for Bron, but ultimately he got the win. However, I'm going to say this again. I don't believe that you can just cruise like that and then just play well against trash teams in the end and win and expect to win MVP that way. I just do not think that that's deserving of MVP. I think that if you look at MVPs that have won MVP in my lifetime, they all have a point to prove. They all try really hard every game for the most part. When LeBron won MVP those 4 years, he played much harder than this. He's just so good now and comfortable with his team, comfortable with his game, that he can do this. Even though he's playing a lot of minutes, it's not like he's going 100% every second he plays. He's conserving his energy like he's done for the last 8 years. So, in my opinion, a guy like Embiid who's trying really hard should definitely be number 1 in the race. But let's move on to the Clippers, who played against the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. And we're in need of a win. We've lost 2 games in a row. The news that Patrick Beverley returned to the lineup today was huge. And it's such a big lift for our team. I saw that stat today. I forget the exact numbers, but our record without Patrick Beverley versus with him since he signed with the team, just such a drastic difference. I thought our defensive, by the way, Karl Anthony Towns coming back right when they play the Clippers, just typical Clipper luck. No D'Angelo Russell, though. But the Timberwolves have been playing terrible basketball. That's why it made me so angry. What's it called? Yeah, it made me really angry, the defensive intensity to start the game for the Clippers. It was actually horrendous. Horrendous. Thank you, Intel Wild, by the way. But it was so pathetic. Batum did not know what he was doing out there in the first half, like just in no man's land. There was no communication. Reggie Jackson was literally just getting cardio out there. Kawhi was like the only one that seemed to like have a focus on defense. Serge Ibaka was letting Karl Anthony Towns get offensive rebounds on him or something. And yeah, what's it called? It was terrible. It was just a terrible start to the game on defense. And the Wolves were hitting and making us pay for it. And Kawhi, I will say this, he went 0 for 3 to start, but then he started growing into the game. But Marcus Morris came in and was taking some horrendous shots. I thought contested jumpers in the end of the first quarter. We were down by 5 after 1, mostly because the Timberwolves just didn't make us pay. I thought our defense was actually horrendous in the first quarter. We left them open so much, and they just aren't a very good team, and that's why they missed. But we deserve to be down 20 against a better team. We would have been down 20. So Clipper fans, do not think that was acceptable what happened in the first quarter. And then in the second quarter, Lou Williams started getting going. He had a much better game today, but especially in the fourth quarter. But in the first half, he's starting to hit shots to start the game. It looked like the Minnesota Timberwolves, Lou played well against them the first time this season. It looked like he could get going against them, and he did. But we just couldn't really string too much outside of Lou in that second quarter. And we went to a zone, and it worked a little bit because the Timberwolves just weren't hitting. But I thought we ended the quarter decently. Went into halftime down by 6. But the second half, very similarly to the Lakers, we really stepped it up, especially in the third quarter defensively, put the clamps down. We were talking a lot more. We knew when to switch. We knew when not to switch. Batum was much more engaged. I thought he was a big difference in the second half. I thought Ibaka was protecting the rim well, and Kawhi was great. And you know who really gave us a lift? Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann was unbelievable. I thought he was unbelievable in terms of the minutes that he got. He always brings energy. He always plays defense. And in my opinion, he always positively impacts the game. He rebounds. He's active. He was getting to the rim a couple times. And you know what? I'll sacrifice some shooting when a player plays with that kind of intensity. He switched on to multiple guys. And, he got the job done, Terrence Mann. He got the job done. And he took it to the rim, was being aggressive, playing great defense. He only had 4 points on 2 of 4, but man, does that not tell the story. But I thought Kawhi was good. He kept it steady. Reggie Jackson was getting to the rim in the third quarter. That was a lot better. Zubac came in. He had some really good stretches of protecting the rim. And Zu's becoming, one of the better offensive rebounders I see in the league, man. He gets rebounds on the offensive glass. He had 3 tonight, 7 overall, only had 3 points. I thought Naz Reid was getting the better of him, though, towards the end of that third quarter and the beginning of the fourth quarter. Especially the beginning of the fourth quarter. Naz Reid, 23 points on 9 of 13. So not great in that department for Zoo when it came to him. But in the fourth quarter, even though we evened it out in points to them in that quarter, and it was the third quarter Clippers has been the theme this season, 33-20, we beat them. But Kawhi Leonard, his defense, his passing, his shot making, it didn't even need to become a close game. Why? Because Lou Williams went back and turned the clock back to 2019, went fourth quarter Lou on these boys, and was just having a night, hitting his shots, closed the deal. You've got to love that if you're a Clipper fan, seeing Lou Williams score like that. Although some Clipper fans are taking it way too far and are like, oh, I know which one of you guys are saying trade Lou. Guys, so Lou having 27 points on 10 of 15 shooting with 5 boards and 4 assists against the Minnesota Timberwolves without D'Angelo Russell in a regular season game is the reason why we shouldn't trade him, or the reason why we Clipper fans that said that they should trade him are wrong. Please give me a break, guys. You act like he's going to play badly. You think that the people that are saying that think he's going to play badly every single night? It's because we don't trust him come playoff time, which is ultimately what we're playing for. However, we're not at the playoffs yet, so we're just going to take it a game at a time. Great bounce back win. Lou Williams was fantastic. I think he had 15 points or more in the fourth. But my player of the game ultimately was Kawhi, because he did it from on both ends of the floor all night long. And he bounced back tonight. This was back to his MVP, like how he's been playing, how I said he should be in the MVP conversation before the last 2 games. He went back to that. 36 points, 8 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, too many turnovers, though 5, I will say. 13 of 25 from the field, extremely efficient. That's 52% if you couldn't calculate it. 5 of 6 from 3, and by a landslide, plus 25 to lead the Clippers in that department. The Clips bounce back 119-112, 18-8, move on to 10-4 on the road. Welcome back, Patrick Beverley. Plus 8 on the court. He was just solid, just having his energy out there. You see him on the bench. You see how animated he is. Every single possession feels a lot bigger when Patrick Beverley is playing, because he takes it seriously, and that rubs off on the team. Great win, or not a great win, a good win. We got to be better against Chicago. They gave us a tough time on that Sunday night in LA. Hopefully Paul George coming back soon, but we got to get the job done even without him. Let's move on to the Celtics and the Jazz from last night. The scum Jazz playing the best of any team in the league. And the Celtics got Jaylen Brown back, which was a huge lift. You know, this team has not been healthy this season at all in terms of the big three, Jaylen, Kemba, and Tatum. And Jaylen got off to a great start, splashing threes. The Celtics were up 27-24 after one. It was a very even game at the half. I thought Bogdanovich was having a good game. I thought Joe Ingles was having a good game. It was a very defensive game. Both teams bringing it. You know what the Jazz are going to bring on defense. They didn't have Mike Conley, though. You know what the Celtics are going to bring on defense when they're locked in. And this game they were in the first half at least. It was 48-47 Utah at the half, but the third quarter is really when the game kind of spiraled out of control. I think the officials, I don't usually say these things, but the officials completely lost track. Like, they just did a terrible job with this game. You know, it was horrible. They just called every single foul. Like, it was unbearable. Straight up no defense association, NDA stuff. It was just not fun to watch at all. I thought Bogdanovich was awesome. I thought Donovan was incredible in terms of just his one-on-one game. The Celtics, though, Peyton Pritchard didn't have a great one of 4. Jeff Teague only played 3 minutes. I thought that was much better from Brad to limit him. Semi Ojeleye, not good enough for me. 2 of 4, 5 points. Grant Williams, though, 4 of 8, 1 of 3 from 3. But Kemba Walker, it's time to talk about it. I really like Kemba. I've been saying he's just going to return to form. But I'm starting to get worried now, guys. Celtics fans. That injury that he's had, that he sustained, man, I'm not going to lie. He hasn't looked the same since the glorified summer league. Like, ever since the shutdown, I should say, my bad. Since the pandemic, he didn't look the same in the glorified summer league. He doesn't look good now. He's missing shots that he's always made. He doesn't have that same burst. He was 2 of 12 with 7 points. And you know what's funny? He's one of those guys, similarly to Lou Will, even though he's a lot better, when he's not hitting shots and he's not creating and he's not being effective offensively, he's a net negative because he's not a great defender. He's a small guard that's not a dog on defense that's, you know, tough and strong or great laterally. So he gets put in pick and roll a lot, and that's what was happening again. And they were doing a good job of that, Utah. And I thought in the fourth quarter the Celtics made a push led by Jason Tatum, but Joe Ingles made some big shots. Joe Ingles, 5 of 12, 5 of 11 from 3, 9 of 10 from the foul line, 24 points. And I thought Rudy Gobert, amazing defense in terms of his rim protection. He deterred a lot of people. They didn't even want to shoot it sometimes. 18 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, 8 of 9 from the field. I thought he was really good. But ultimately, it was Donovan Mitchell who won the game. I hate seeing him on a scum team like the Jazz, but man, I said it from the glorified summer league. I am really high on Donovan Mitchell. He is one of the, I'd say, fringe top 10 players in this league. He's one of the best in the league in pick and roll, which is, as we talked about, and is the NBA getting better and all the time here. One of the best. I mean, one of the most, what's it called? Pick and roll is like 90% of the NBA offenses these days. And Donovan Mitchell's one of the best in the league. That pick and roll with Rudy Gobert is one of the most potent in the NBA, especially when you got guys like Bogdanovich, Conley, and Royce O'Neal and Ingles stretching the floor. But Donovan, his step backs, his gather, his one-on-one game, it was filth. It was just absolute filth. And he got the job done. I wouldn't be too mad at this if I was the Celtics. It was a tough West Coast road trip, man. Because once again, we're the Western Conference, Boston. So when you come here, you play against real basketball teams where you have to play great to win. It's not those trash teams y'all be playing at the bottom of the barrel. But I will say this, the East has gotten a lot better 3 through 8. And ultimately, what the Celtics need is just the big 3 to play together more. They need those 3. And Kemba Walker, man, let's give it 5 more games and see what happens. But I would be a little concerned if I was a Celtics fan. So let's finish off with the Warriors and the Spurs. Or should I say Stephen Curry. Guys, Stephen Curry, it's time we started putting him in the MVP discussion, and I'm being serious here because his team's record is just as expected, and it's not his fault. Guys, they lost the other game the other night against San Antonio because they're in the fourth quarter. Everybody, Damian Lee, even Curry, Draymond, Wanamaker, Pascal, every single Oubre, every single one of them missed shots in the fourth quarter, clear-cut shots that they should have made that won him the game. And then Draymond had his ridiculous Shaq in a fool moment where he thought he was going to get fouled and just chucked it at half court. You know, at the end of the day, Draymond Green is the X factor every time. When he plays well, they win, and when he doesn't, they don't usually win. And this game last night that the Warriors played, once again, pretty even in the first half. I thought Draymond did such a good job, though, of finding his guys. But, guys, Stephen freaking Curry. Like, it is actually, guys, I'm telling you right now, appreciate this while we have him. Appreciate it. Because this guy, he doesn't bitch. He doesn't whine. He plays the game a certain style. Some people think that, they don't like the 3-point, it's fair. They they call it like a pansy style. It's a guards game. But guys, Stephen Curry, it's not his fault the NBA completely changed like this and became a 3-point chuck fest. Not everybody's like Curry, and not everybody can run like the Warriors. And Stephen Curry is just, and look at this, guys. He revived this franchise. When Stephen Curry came to the Warriors, guys, I remember because once again, I've been watching basketball for now 16 years. Monte and Steph, they were a joke, guys. They were an exciting team that never won anything. They were a trash heap. Oracle was not sold out every night. Even in the beginning, Stephen Curry with his ankle problems. For him to do what he's done with this organization, he's going to stay probably to the end of his career. He is the Warrior, and I so much respect to Rick Barry, but Stephen Curry is the greatest Warrior of all time. And and here's the craziest part about him. Not just his threes, not just what he does in pick and roll, not just his floaters, not just the step back. Literally, guys, you can put 4 people in this chat into the game right now with the Warriors, and I swear to God, Stephen Curry will get us a good shot. I swear it'll happen. Like, he can create. LeBron James and Steph Curry are the 2 best get my team a good shot in the NBA guys. But the difference between LeBron and Steph is Steph can literally do it without even touching the ball. And he's such a good screen setter. And when he sets those screens and you think he's going to pop out, 2 guys always run to him, which leave a guy open under the basket. And Draymond Green is so good at finding that pass. And I thought that the Warrior defense just stepped up. The third quarter is when they blew the game open. And you got to give Wiggins credit. You've got to give Juan Toscano-Anderson credit. You've got to give Oubre credit. But it was a Steph Curry show. 11 of 20, 4 of 10 from 3, 32 points. Draymond, 6 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists. I thought Pascal was good, 6 of 7, 15 points. Bazemore, 10 points, 3 of 6. But, man, guys, it's just a joy with this Steph Curry, man. It's just a joy. The Warriors outscored the Spurs in the third quarter that I'm talking about, 36-20. And they went on to win 114-91, making up for their loss. A great win for the Warriors. They're 13-12 now. But, man, Steph freaking Curry, the amount of attention he draws, the amount of space he creates for everybody else around him, it's just something unbelievable. It's unlike anything we've ever seen in this game. 29.6 points a game. That's what he's averaging with 5.4 rebounds and 6 assists. It's safe to say this is turning into one of his best seasons, and he's had some great seasons. So before I end the live and go to the live chat, or before I end the episode and go to the live chat, Kevin Garnett made some comments the other day, some of which were accurate, some of which he completely lied. Again, this is promoting the modern product because he doesn't want to sound like a hater like Shaq. Complete bullshit what he said about, I don't know if guards could play 20 years ago, and then contradicting himself by saying, well, imagine guarding Mike without hand checking. Well, imagine guarding Nick Van Exel, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Gary Payton, Kevin Johnson without hand checking. Imagine that. But you know what's funny is he didn't even say 30 years ago. He said 20 years ago. So imagine guarding Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, Ray Allen, Steve Francis, Jason Williams, Gilbert Arenas, Baron Davis, Chauncey Billups. You want me to keep continuing? Kevin Garnett, I don't know what he was thinking saying that. And that's, again, brainwashing young minds who are going to keep saying evolution. Blah, 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 blah. Go watch Is the NBA Getting Better and Better? It was sickening that he said that. And there's a reason why Kevin Garnett didn't say bigs. Because he thinks he can dog. I'm already knowing he thinks he can dog this era. But once again, he said it. Defense has gone harder. Offense has gone easier. It's not rocket science. Anyway, whatever. That's 24 minutes. Shout out to Bean. His episode is out. Go check that out. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to tell me what you know. Tell me what you think. I'm sorry. Now we're going to go to the live subscribers waiting so patiently in the chat. A good amount of them tonight. Peace. All right, G's. What's good? So many comments tonight. I can't even read you guys. Guys, Seth. Okay, time out, guys. I need to talk to my mods real quick. Seth, some of these comments aren't even mean, bro. You got to let it ride a bit. Only if they cuss me out or say something personally wrong to me. If they trash talk the Clippers, let them run. We can't just be immune to trash talk here. Let them run with their comments. It's okay. Anyway, why did Kevin Garnett say those things? Because he's trying to promote the modern product and not be a hater like Shaq. That's why he said it. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, Clips are the most unlucky franchise. That's obvious. This is what I hate. Some people, just like my friend, just say Wilt doesn't count as a legend because once again, Jonah, tell him to watch my video, man. I don't know. Tell me to watch my video. The stream just started for you, Mr. Zeke? Respect. Thank you. Yeah, I know. 3 OTs in a row. I think Kuz and West going to be big in the playoffs. We'll see. I think the Jazz can beat the Clips or Lakers. Personally, think they're both terrible matchups for the Jazz, mainly because of AD and Ibaka. What does Ibaka do? What is Ibaka going to do to exploit them? I don't think he's going to do anything to exploit them. I think he can, protect the rim. He can't take advantage of mismatches, guys. He's very rare. It's not reliable. AD for sure, because he can pull Gobert out and try to splash over him. But Dime, what the business be, G? You got the PG haters. Classic. I do think the Jazz have a chance, especially to beat the Clippers. I mean, no question. There's no question. I think KD was referring to the average Joe. Okay, see, that's the problem, though. I'm sorry, but you're going to make me do it. All right, so Sam Cassell, the 0-time, how many All-Star appearances did he make? What about him as the average Joe? What about Bobby Jackson? Does he count as the average Joe? Because I think he'd be pretty damn good. What about Jason Richardson? He was pretty fucking athletic, and he was never made the All-Star team. What about Steven Jackson? What about Al Harrington? You know what I'm saying? Monte Ellis was an All-Star, 0 times? I could keep going on. These are average players. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that the average thing is because people just can't even name them. Aaron McKee, you know what I'm saying? Let me just keep going. We can do this all day, though. Jameer Nelson. I mean, are you kidding? Rafer Alston, he was an average Joe. People would think he was Kyrie Irving today if he played some people. But anyway, Joe Ingles, get out of here. Terrence Mann, FSU legend. They got to go with an open mind, though, Jonah. I think Kennard needs to get more involved, Bilal Abbasi. He can't just sit there in the corner, and they need to look to get him involved. Hope Jazz won't disappoint in the playoffs. Yeah, I hate the Jazz, Gab. Roberto Espino. It's all good. Man, my bad, Mr. Zeke. How similar do you think PG and Jaylen Brown are as players? I think they got a lot of similarities. I think PG is a little more offensively polished, but let's look at Jaylen Brown's progression. I mean, Paul George in year 5 was what, 2015? Damn, Paul George in his 4th year was really good, huh? 2014, he was really good. Jaylen Brown wasn't that good in his 4th year. But his 5th year, though, Paul George, this was the season that he missed the whole year. So I think they're similar because their length and their defense and the way they get some shots. But PG's handle, man, oof, smooth. Yeah, the matchup against the Jazz is tough, man. LeBron needs another superstar? No, he doesn't. What? Lakers having comeback wins against bottom teams. I know, it's really starting to piss me off, too. Clippers are at... Oh, look, it's Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh guy. Bro, how do we not see this guy? There we go. Hey, he wasn't that bad, though, Big Daddy. He wasn't that bad, Aaron McKee. Maybe in the finals, but on the route there, he wasn't bad. I think Iverson credits him for a lot of shit. But, oh, yeah, another one, Mo Williams. He'd be a beast. He dropped 50 in this, 5 years ago before it even got ridiculous. What about Jason Terry and Devin? Remember about Devin Harris? You guys remember how good he was in New Jersey? Trader free. I'm still going to say George Hill when he gets healthy. That's the player I want. How would a Jazz versus Warriors series be where Steph has more shots? The Jazz would beat him in 6 games. Why do I hate the Jazz? First of all, if you live in Los Angeles, it's like a common thing to hate the Jazz. My parents used to tell me about Malone and Stockton, who were just complete scum. So I didn't like them because apparently, they were the first reason why the Lakers couldn't get over the hump at the beginning. But then I never liked Carlos Boozer or AK-47 and the fans, the rumors and what I've heard from players say about the fans. And then I hated only person I like was Darren Williams. He was my guy, and then the 2017 playoff series against them. I just don't like. I can't stand the Jazz. I just can't stand them. Never have, never will. Lakers need to play better. Yeah, I know. Best player of all time at each position. Remember what I said about this question? The only definitive answer I can give you is Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Tim Duncan. The other two up for debate. Kennard needs to be more active and start driving to the lane if possible. Shake my head. Rafer Alston is Kyrie like shaking my head. He skipped to my Lou. Duh. Facts. Why does Kennard get so few minutes? I don't know what's good with Kennard's not ass. I just think that Ty Lue's a little tough on him. Jalen Brunson went to my rival high school. We were robes to the game since his dad got caught and a rub and tug. He dropped 50. Wow. Okay. I agree, but every time he touches the ball, he dribbles like twice and then passes it. I wish he'd look for his shot when he gets the ball. I agree with that, Bilal Abbasi, about Kennard. Magic by a landslide, Jonah. You like that three from... Okay, Roberto. Dime Dropper, if you're the Lakers, do you trade Kuz, KCP, THT, and 2 picks for Beal? I don't think you need to rock the boat at this point. I think you're the best team in the league, and I think you keep it where it's at, and I think it's just a matter of Anthony Davis stepping it up and LeBron leading the right way, which he's done. My best 5, Magic, MJ, Bron, Tim Duncan, Kareem. That's a great 5, Gab. Probably the most popular one, I'd say. The Kyle Lowry rumors are not coming from credible sources, Easy Visions. Because Pokemon's a bitch. That's why. You don't come to my live talking shit, Richard. And you can, if you want to talk shit, you'll get the same treatment. Yo, I just watched the 05 T-Wolves game with KG and Sam Cassell. Yeah, Cassell is a great player. He's part of the reason I got into the Clippers. Yeah, average player. He's not the typical guard of today, but man, he's crafty, man. Sam Cassell. I mean, here's the thing. If you put Sam Cassell in a pick and roll with the floor spread, like, bro, he's coming off the screens, popping mid-ranges for days. Like, I don't know what. Another average player, Corey Maggette. What about that plumber? All right, anyway. He was horrible on Lakers. Man, how many years did Aaron McKee play on Lakers? Elvin Hayes is extremely underrated. He had turnovers over both shoulders, dagger post game, mid-range, beast. Yeah, Devin was Devin was a star for a couple seasons, but he was, once again, though, if he played in a league that was 5 out, all guards just picking rolls, but he would be a fucking monster. Kyle Lowry's more of a vocal leader, but he couldn't win without Kyle Kuzma. No, I hid his comments, Seth. Rohan, obviously it's more than just luck. I said it in the video. I just said they are getting lucky, which you can't deny. But obviously they win because they have the best player on the floor, and he does, and the best player in the league right now. And he, not saying that he's playing the best right now. I'm saying he's the best player in the NBA until proven otherwise. So Iverson is more shiftier than Kyrie. Kyrie just has tighter handles. I feel, yeah, I would agree with that. And Iverson's, I don't know, the finishing is tough. I need to watch more Iverson. I'm not taking Philly to come out of the East. Thank you, Jackpot Tweener. Yo, saying Kyle Lowry didn't do shit in the playoffs is completely wrong. Completely wrong. Eric Snow. Eric Snow is not the typical modern point guard that I think would do great, but he's not a bad player at all. He was a good defender, though. He wouldn't get like Mr. Snapped off garbage. Remember Larry Hughes? Yeah, people are so casual with these comments. Fuck Alina Garcia, big bum. Yo, like the video. Yeah, 83 likes. That shit better get to 50 right now. Let's go. Run it up, please. Run it up, please. Before I read your comments, I'm trying to get out this in 5 minutes, man. I haven't eaten dinner tonight, man. I gotta get that late dinner. Oh, that's a great performance by Zach LaVine. That's what I got to say. It's not at 50. It's 31 likes. What are you guys doing? There's 82 of you in here. Come on. Get out of here. Yeah, thank you about that, Bilal Abbasi. People, the Lou fans, the Clipper fans need to chill with that stuff. Gerald Henderson. Funny enough, he still averages like 15 points a game, though. I hope Jazz will fold. Who was their power forward? I hated him. White dude. Which team are you talking about, Big Daddy? KCP was Markieff Morris was a bubble imposter. He doesn't shoot like that normally. I'm going to keep saying it. He doesn't shoot like that. Okay, just Keen family. You're making some ridiculous comments. Just mentioning. Yep, I hate you for the Jazz. Yep, Laker fans and Clipper fans can agree on that. Laker fans more. If you're a Laker fan, you don't hate the Jazz. You need to study Laker history. Terrence Mann's bigger than Pat Bev, though. I'll give the Jazz fans credit, though. They are loud. They are loud. They had a good atmosphere. I don't think Kennard can't put the ball on the floor. I think it's a little false. He's not a great ball handler in terms of like creating his own shot with that. He's also like 6'4". But I think Jarrett Hilton, I've never seen you before, but you're being harsh on him. Nets gave up all the depth for Harden, and now they have no defense or depth. Why would the Lakers trade their depth for Beal? Yeah, I agree. Man is okay. Jarrett Hilton, you clearly don't watch Clipper games, and clearly you think that offense is everything in basketball. Because if you think Terrence Mann is ass, you're asleep. I don't care about scoring. He's playing great defense and making a difference in the game. I don't know. Big Daddy, here's the thing, man. Not every single team that gets a bunch of stars always works out. You know how that works, man. We've seen a lot of it recently, too. Brandon Bass was not that bad, man. He had a cash mid-range, and he attacked the rim. He was not bad. I actually liked Bass when we had him for 1 year, but he used to go up strong. Corey Maggette is no average player on 2K. I'd hope not. Olawa Candy. Oh, my God. If we can't get Hill, who should the Clips get? Dude, I don't know. Why don't you name some names for me? I still have a lot of respect for Karl Malone and John Stockton as basketball players, though. They're like true competitors and like very incredible in terms of the longevity. Kobe is forever. Unfair. I wonder what Kobe and MJ would average in this era. Unfair. That's what they would average. Unfair numbers. I just can't imagine Kobe doing high pick and roll every second with shooters. Like, it would just be ridiculous. I don't know Anthony Dumas about the PG thing. I think we just got to hope for the best and take it a game at a time. I think LeBron is the best player in the league right now, Joshua Sadler. Although Embiid is playing the best. Do you like the Big O as a top 10 to 15 player ever? I absolutely think. Dude, I think the Big O can be anywhere from like, for people that watched him play, some people say he's like the greatest player they've ever seen. So like for me, Big O can be anywhere, to be honest. Like if you watched him play live, like if somebody that's old enough to have watched him, I can't really talk to somebody about that. Like they see something that I can never see, despite the context. Seeing it in live time is something else. So the Big O is a great all-time legend. And the 10 to 15, I think, is a great range for him. 15 to 20 even, possibly. I think he slightly gets a little overhyped in terms of like him versus, say, Jerry West because of the triple-double average. But the Big O is a class act. I'm John Kuba. I'm still going to stick with it. I'm not changing my pick. Go listen to the preview. I'm still going to stick with Miami. I'm still going with it. I'm not going to change my pick. Like, I'm just going to stick with my guns, guys. I'm not going to flip-flop. So, yeah. I'm never going to apologize about what I said about Glenn Rivers. I'll just admit that he's done a good job. He still did a horrible job for the Clippers, period. So, Ben Gordon, that's a name from the past. Jesus, he would fit in well today. And before he just like seemed like he did a bunch of drugs and vanished off the face of the earth. Facts, Anthony Dumas about Kyle Lowry. Mark Jackson, great passer, beast. UMass Minuteman, Marcus Camby, Derek D. Okay, Jarrett Hilton, are you watching just points or are you watching defense that Lowry did, the charges he took, the leadership, the passes he made, the reads and pick and roll? Come on, man. Once again, Mr. Type of Shot, I don't answer these questions about top 5 all time. I don't answer these questions. What you getting for dinner? Does Dime play hoops? Of course. Come on. You think I would talk about basketball as much if I never played? Jokic has been great. I just think the Nuggets need to do better, and I haven't watched like more than 6 games. give or take. Guys, the stream is not at 50 yet. There's 76 of you in here. Come on. I need to see 50 likes on my video, please. I do this for nothing. YouTube hasn't even paid me, guys. I have like $300 in there that I've made from you guys, and they haven't even given me the money. They better. Thaddeus Young. He's a good defender, though, Image EA. Desmond Mason had bounce. Jazz. Man, it was so long ago your message missed. Oh, Ostertag? You're talking about Ostertag or Greg Foster? I got noticed by Dime. What do you mean 2 GOATs is better than 1 GOAT? Yeah, Murray is definitely not better than Donovan Mitchell. He's a bubble imposter to an extent, too. Back up to Malone? I don't know if I said it. William Nayu's not here. Ugh, I don't want to see Clippers Jazz, Mark Blue. I'm kind of scared of the Jazz. Best home crowd of the NBA? Well, I haven't been to every stadium, so I can't tell you. But from TV, I thought the Thunder were great for a couple years, then Oracle. But I think Utah may be the best. As much as hey, I'm going to say this, though. They got some great fans in terms of, like, loyalty to the team. I just think the racism stuff is, like, sus. Kawhi has been amazing this year, except for the last 2 games, like, literally, and the games that he had a mask on. That's about it. How long is AD out for? It says day-to-day. I don't think THT could blossom like SGA. He's not good enough to be SGA yet. He doesn't have enough of a good jumper off the dribble, in my opinion. It's kind of like go hard drive right, but yeah, I think he needs a better jumper off the dribble. Keep the defenders guessing a bit. He kind of just goes to the rim. And SGA is great at driving, and then he stops on a dime, pivots, and turns. You got to have counters. When you're driving full speed, that's one thing like LeBron, when he's driving full speed, like outside of when he's like when he's dribbling with his left hand, he spins right. Other than that, though, and he usually slows down a bit before he does that. In the half court, he doesn't have any like counters when he's going downhill. Like if LeBron's going downhill, you just put 2 defenders on him, he kicks it, or like he charges into you, or puts his shoulder into you. Like he doesn't have those counters. That's one of the things that, like, when I talk about his scoring game, it's like when he's able to just shove people in this era, like Shaq did and Giannis, like you couldn't do that in other eras. So anyway, yeah. Thank you so much, I Am Batman. I appreciate you. God, there's so many comments. I need to end this stream, man. I hated Kings fans. AD is not out for at least 5 games. Allen Iverson, Dark Prince over Kyrie. How do you not hate the Jazz, though? Unless you didn't watch Malone and them, or like don't care. But you like those, dude, they used to beat up on the Lakers. Yeah, he's similar to Caruso for the Lakers, but I'd say Caruso's a little better right now, son of legend, than Man. He's just a little more comfortable out there offensively. I know. I want George Hill, Joshua Sadler. Man falls asleep on rotations. I still think he's better than most, man. He's able to switch. He puts pressure on the ball handlers. Wilt the Stilt is top 10. He's the GOAT if you love stats. If you like stats, he's the GOAT. No, unquestioned. But he's top 10 for sure. Beast. Underrated all time by Gen Z bots. Disrespected criminally. Kareem versus Eaton, Magic versus Stockwell, Carson emerging all-star. Sadly, Mark Eaton never reached the NBA Finals. One former Clipper you wish we had to be on our current roster. Not CP and Blake. Sam Cassell or... Actually, no, Chris Paul. Chris Paul would number 1, not Blake. Not right now. Chris Paul, but then Chauncey. No, not the Chauncey version from the Clippers. Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell would be my pick. What about Orlando Woolridge? Ben does seem like he's on drugs, bro. Troy Murphy. I feel like he'd be good in this era because he's a stretch four. Yeah, Gordon was sus. Sonic. What about Rashard Lewis? Andre Miller. Yeah, I don't think Dime is a great playmaker. Dime would take 90% of angles on the court. Thank you. What's up, Dime? What's good, Karen? Thanks for giving my Thunder the respect. No problem. Jason Richardson. Settle down, Seth Greenberg. You're gonna talk me into being a psychopath on that court. You guys keep saying that flight stuff. I DM'd him actually. Obviously not gonna respond. He's too big right now. Yo, 50 likes. I need that. Why isn't Tom Chambers in the Hoff? I don't know. Heat Twitter. What about Heat Twitter? Thank you, I am Batman. 50 likes. Yes, Dallas Mavericks first round exit. Of course, let me know Len Bias. Kawhi can't shoot. Yeah, never mind. I wouldn't call it the players that Steph's carrying bums, guys. One of the greatest what ifs. Top goats of chat. Maniac Lane, Sammy from Sportsby, Simon, William Nayu. Downturn for the Celtics, Rick Pitino. I lived in the same house as Rick Pitino. Fun fact. Yes, that is his signature move, though, Karen LeBron spin, because he doesn't really have many go-to moves. He's gotten better at the turn over the right shoulder, though. Oh, Mark Blue, you're right. I'm afraid the Clippers aren't championship material. But MXM, since you play hoops, what two players do you base your game on? Darren Williams and Chris Paul. I was big time into them when I was a kid, so those two. Kobe video comments? I answered your comments. Oh, that's you, Karen. Holy shit, bro. Dude, that was so funny. He backtracked so much on that. That was so funny. I know that was you. I know you watched the lives. That's you. Okay, for sure. For sure. Why don't you like the Jazz? Do I have to answer that question 10 times? Guys, nobody in LA should like the Jazz, I'm afraid. Oh my, Big Daddy, you're too old to be making these comments about Wilt playing versus midgets. No, he wasn't. And plus, they limited his size. Okay, the average height of a 6'9" was 6'9", 6'10" in the 60s. But by the time he was in the 70s, man, there were really good centers out there. And, dude, they limited the rules so he couldn't dominate as much with his size. Have you watched my video series, man? You should watch it. Because the 60s, because here, even the people that grew up with the 80s, they disrespect the 60s and 70s too, because the aesthetic differences in the game. There was no three-point line. The 50s were a bunch of white guys, but not really the 60s at all, even though people try to say it like that. And the white guys and the big teams were all like goats. So, no, Wilt did not play against midgets, man. Wilt would be a beast in any era. Midgets. Come on, man. I have watched some Thinking Basketball. Derek D, I feel you on those Pistons games. I feel you on that splashing skills. Yeah, Lamar Odom would be a monster. Luke Ridnour, great shout out. I think he'd be great. Don, what do you think of CP3 backcourt? It would have come down to who sacrifices, CP3 or Chris Paul. No, we shouldn't get Isaiah Thomas. Nobody that can't guard, man. We got that 50 likes. Not just the 90s, know my flow. What about the 2000s? Andre Kirilenko, Carlos Boozer, Coach Sloan. Rest in peace. You know, what about the 2017 playoffs? Come on, get out of here. They're scum, bro. Their fans are racist. 2 more likes, so Stein leaves us there. Thank you thank you, Michael Ta. Mike Penberthy would play on the Warriors today. I was heated because a media member shouldn't act like that, Karen. That was really petty. Do you think Kawhi stays with the Clippers this summer? I mean, he better. I mean, we've given him everything, so it's all on him. I don't know. I need to watch that Pacers 04 team more, Derek D. Yeah, amazing Euro by D Wade. LeBron versus courtside Karens. How many Karens versus LeBron? That's not true though, man. Only a couple of legit guys like Russell had to go against. Let's name them. I mean, what year do you want to talk about? If you tell me a year, I will name them for you. You know, Willis Reed, Dave Cowens, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bob Pettit, you know, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, Dave Bing, Dave DeBuscher, Rick Barry, Nate Thurmond, Jerry Lucas, Oscar Robertson, you know, Don Ole, Dick Barnett. There's a lot, man. There's a lot. And are we going to even get to Clyde Frazier and those guys? Because we can really name them off then. The Hawks players, Bill Bridges, Elmo Beatty, Lou Hudson. There's a lot of good players in the 60s, man. They're just slept on. What's that dude from the Pistons name? I forget his name. Bob Lanier also. Yeah, I don't know, Johnny. I don't know why Donovan Mitchell's not in the MVP conversation. Chris Kaman back. Yeah, 6'10". But they limited Wilt's size. Not like the Jazz, though. First of all, I've actually been to Celtics games, and it's much more diverse than you think. In the Jazz crowd, you look, it's all white guys. But, yeah. It was a lot more diverse than I thought, man. It was just, honestly as diverse as a Laker-Clipper game, believe it or not. Because the city of Boston is actually pretty diverse. It's the neighboring suburbs around it that's a little white. That's very white, I should say. Kawhi and Reggie at the end was funny. Shaq will pay attention in the All-Star game. I mean, in the playoffs, though. He always does in the regular season. Biggs, my guy? What? What year? You gotta tell me the year, man. They're all right, the city jerseys. Does LeBron... Does he? No, first of all, I don't think LeBron... First of all, LeBron calling himself the GOAT is just an oxymoron to praising anybody from the past, because that's disrespecting everybody right there, in my opinion. That was just total bull to say things like that. And then to say that he has the two hardest playoff, like, championship wins ever, like, that was just ridiculous. I think that's disrespectful to history, but... Russell era? I don't think so, man. I disagree. I mean, after studying it, the centers... Like, all of them were 6'10" or so. Like, I don't know what the problem is. The Lakers, that's the one thing. They didn't have an elite center. They had Leroy Ellis and, like, Rudy LaRusso, who were, like, stretch fours. And no, Rudy LaRusso was, like, a stretch four, but Leroy Ellis, it's like 6'10". He's not a star, but, man, he's got the height and athleticism. But Russell's just a beast. But there was only a couple teams back then, so each team usually had a good center, a couple stars. But anyway, all right, guys. Bill Russell can call himself the GOAT, though, because he has the most rings. He's the only player, in my opinion, that has the right to call himself that, because he won the most rings, so he can say it. And he's also criminally disrespected by Gen Z, even millennials, bro. Millennials disrespect him. Like, I used to disrespect him. How many NBA games have I been to? Like, over 100. I've been to more playoff games than people have been in games. The 50s are very minimal. Brady for football. All right, guys. I think I'm done for the night. But peace out. Thank you for joining up. Anybody talking about Wilt or Russell's era? Go watch my series. Is the NBA getting better and better? Especially part 2. That's where I talked about the 60s a lot and went into it in more depth. But go for it. All right. Peace, guys.